Welcome back. We are off topic, on brand. I'm Siege. That is Smitty. Hey. And we are back once again with a brand new episode. It has been a week, man.
Man, it feels like 5, honestly.
I have, been susceptible to, I don't know if it's a multitude of things. I don't know if it's literally I'm an old man and the weather has changed too much. And instead of having, I got a bum knee, a storm's coming in, instead of it being that, it's my mood has shifted or what it is. But I have been a little bit of a funk, and I know you share that sympathy and empathy with me. I think maybe I picked it up from you. Damn you.
Man, did I give you a computer virus? Is that what happened?
All that unprotected tube touching.
I know, man. We got too carried away, and next thing I know, I just funked you right up, didn't I? But, I've kind of become, I've learned that that sort of thing, for me, the funk, it's still going on, and a lot of it very much is tied to work.
Yeah.
Which is basically, right now, I'm working pretty well 12 hours a day. It's 11 to 12 hours every day. We actually work a Saturday, and it kind of gets to that point where I'm up early in the morning, like my alarm's going off 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm at work for 12 hours. I get home, it's 3:30, 4, a little after 4, and I'm like, I've got 3 hours at best to do something in the evenings. And I fight with trying to figure out just exactly what I need to do, what I have to do, what I want to do, to the point where a lot of the times I just end up laying on the couch like a grumpy Gus of a human being. It's like, this sucks. Screw it all. I don't want to do a damn thing. And then next thing I know, the sun's still out and I got to try to haul my ass to bed and go to sleep. And so, dude, the funk, that is 100% real. And it's not a good funk. It's not a Terry funk. It's not even a Dory funk.
No.
It's not a good funk whatsoever. So if yours is anything like what I'm going through, then, dude, yeah, I absolutely, completely, it doesn't even have to be weather related. I get what you're going through.
Well, the weather yo-yo is definitely not helping. Stayed at home with my daughter today and did a little bit of remote work, and my daughter has got that yo-yo with the weather, and she's picked up the allergens from her mom and I, so it's one of those scenarios where we're not sure if it's pollen, we don't know if it's mold, we don't know if it's what the allergen is, but she's not running a fever, but she woke up this morning and looked like a zombie, and it's like, I wasn't sure what to do other than we got to give you some meds and see if you want to eat some breakfast. And my wife was essentially like, yeah, I don't know if I want to send her to school looking like that because it's basically going to be the all day back and forth between the schoolroom and the nurse's office. And again, she wasn't running a fever. She hasn't it felt like she was going to throw up, nothing like that. It's all drainage and her throat's all red, but it's not splotchy like it's strep, which... In all of my years, that was the most sick I've ever been. But I had strep when I was a senior in high school, and I just felt like I was in a car accident, and then everything hurt. It was miserable, and so yeah, that's the one benefit of her being younger and being sick. Yeah, you still feel miserable, and thankfully you got a mom and dad that are willing to stay home with you if you need to, and not to pull the pin and throw the grenade and say, "Hey, we'll be back later. Don't die." But yeah, so she just felt miserable today, and between the weather and she practiced really hard at softball this weekend, and first practice of the week, and just. Everything. And we were outside a lot on Sunday doing some yard work and different chores, and just, it's been a funky week. And then on top of that, the mood change, I don't know, I was kind of down all weekend. Friday was fine, just ready to be done with the work week. Right. Saturday, we ran down the highway, and we had gymnastics tryouts for her, which was really cool, trying out for an actual competition team, and we think she did really well. And it was funny because it was her and one other girl that were in this tryout, and she was much older than her, so she was a high school, I would guess, 15, 16. So an older girl, and not anybody that's in the same level of classes that she's in. And so they were both trying out for a competition team, and it's kind of like wrestling. You're in different weight classes, so it'd be a skill level type or age. I'm not quite sure how that breaks down. But both of them, this girl, like on the floor routine, the Simone Biles of the world and the Childs of the world on the Olympics teams, they do these floor routines that are just like, how gravity doesn't exist for you, does it? Well,
right.
this girl that was in high school, or we assume she's in high school, was so much more skilled at that than what our daughter is at 11. And I know that everybody doesn't have to do every single event at competitions in gymnastics. But this girl was doing that, and then they went over, the very last thing they did was the bars. The bars. So you
the
do
uneven ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, uneven bars. Parallel bars, whatever they're called.
Yeah, I think they're uneven. But our daughter hasn't done both of them yet, the hop from one to the other yet.
Okay.
But she has excelled since the very beginning at doing the body control on those. Well, this high school girl was struggling on that. And then here's our daughter. She's rocking and rolling. She even got double blisters on both hands from it. And, so the gymnastics coaches and stuff will be like, oh, you earned your stripes, kid. It's like the first time she fell off the balance beam, and I forget if she scraped up her thigh. But, yeah, going down, it just scraped all along it and got road rash. And they were like, yep, earned your stripes. Good on you. It's like getting hit by a pitch in baseball. If it's not something that you did stupid, you just stood there and took it, they're like, hell yeah, take that base. It's one of those scenarios. So, but it was real cool watching her do that. And then we turned it into a full day down the highway. And it was just like, I think we were all ready to be home and not do anything. And then we were shoring up a storm on Sunday because it wasn't raining and it wasn't brutally cold out or stupid windy out. And so it's just been one thing after another. And we all kind of just want to be home.
Oh, I understand that, man. I will say one thing. I'm still kind of pissed off at you because you didn't buy those Jordans. Do those, because I know that you're a fan of green, shoes and clothes and stuff like that. So finding the white AJ1s with the green accents on it, I didn't want to, like, jokingly, I was like, yes, you need to buy them. But deep down, I'm thinking, please buy these. Well, because they're going to look so good on you. They look good in the pictures you sent me.
And it was definitely, well, for the record, they were nude pictures. It was just me wearing those shoes and nothing else.
That's the only way I ever want pictures from you. Just so everybody knows. Naked with shoes on. That's it.
Even when they're just the food porn pictures, that's how he wants them. I don't know why.
You naked with shoes on holding a piece of meat. Your meat or the meat you cooked. It doesn't matter. Send me your meat.
Is that our new hashtag? I don't know if I want to be associated with that or not. Anyway, and I do have buyer's remorse. As a matter of fact, when we left the store, it was TJ Maxx, heads up for those of you bargain shoppers out there. Jordan ones, they had a metallic green. It was almost like Boston Celtic green. It's like, and even the Kelly Green Eagles jersey, you could rock one with that. It's like, I love green. I don't necessarily love those teams, but I could justify getting those and then a bird throwback jersey. That would be pretty sweet. But as we left the store, these are almost $80. I know it's kind of a good buy, but we've got a cart full of stuff, new clothes for Ahryn, and my wife got one or two things. Like, I don't need them. I just don't need them because that's not going to be an everyday at work shoe. I'm not going to wear that unless it's like I'm trying to impress somebody or it's a date night or we're going somewhere, whatever. But the second we left the store, my wife was, I kind of regret that we didn't get those, even though it would have put us well over $100. It would have been almost $200 by the time we got. It's like, yeah, well, should I go back in? No, I don't need to. And then by the time we got home, it's like, I should have bought those damn shoes. So I don't know. I haven't decided on if I'm going to try and make a trek down the highway. It happens to be payday today. Hooray.
Hey, there you go.
So may have to look at the budget and see if I can scoot down the highway and see if those 10.5s are still there. But if they are, it's meant to be. If not, oh, well, I missed out on it. But definitely a cool pair of kicks. And I definitely would have gotten some props from a handful of people on those, I know. But again, I don't want to be disassociated with someone that is not a that claims to be just based on the color scheme a fan of a team that I'm not really a fan of. But again, I am a fan of that era of basketball. So again, a throwback Bird jersey would be pretty sweet.
Oh, heck yeah. That'd be the perfect compliment right there, dude. And maybe, maybe financially it'll work out this time around. If not, what we can do, we can set up a GoFundMe account via Off Topic on Brand for your shoes. Surely we have enough listeners at this point that if you guys just pitch in like $1 or $2 a piece, you're going to get these shoes, right?
Don't you dare call our listeners Shirley when none of them actually have the name Shirley, you son of a bitch.
Well, I actually did buy myself a pair of shoes over the weekend.
Yes.
I had what I consider to be a big day out for me because I'm very much, or I have been in the past, very much one of the people that I want to go to somewhere, but I always talk myself out of doing it because it's that weird anxiety thing of that I'm working on with my therapist to try to work around. It's kind of a anxiety confidence battle where the anxiety kills any, like, my confidence is already down here to begin with. And the anxiety immediately comes in and just starts attacking the confidence to the point where I talk myself out of it. And that's something that she picked up on very early in our sessions. And she was just like, maybe once a month or every other month or something, do a thing that is new to you, that is foreign to you, that is something that you call, quote unquote, the big scary thing. It isn't big and scary, but in the grand scheme of where my mentality and my mindset on all that was, it's like this new thing because, and I don't know if I've ever explained it on here the way that I explained to my therapist, but I was like, here's just an example of how my brain works when I'm doing something that I've never done before. Like if I'm going to a place I've never been, let's say it's a hotel. I want to know every single exit I need to be taking before I get on the road to know where I need to be going. I want to know where I need to pull when I get there. I need to know which door I need to go into. I need to know where the parking lot is. Is it in front? Is it in back? Is it valet? If it's valet, can I self-park if I don't want to give somebody my keys? Once I get parked, where do I need to go? Who do I need to talk? It's just this long, stupid list of stuff that wears me out to the point when I think and overthink. I'm like, I'm not going to do it now. So she gives me homework and she's like, last month the thing was call about looking into getting my taxes done because I had to go do things different this year, being on my own. And the other thing was to call about my passport, which I ended up looking at the library and the library was, they were like, yeah, everything's online. If you could just do it online, it works better. So, okay, which I'm going to, in the next month or two, probably go get my passport because I don't have plans to travel internationally yet, but I want to.
I was going to say, you're talking about setting up a GoFundMe for Siege getting new kicks. I think we need to set up a GoFundMe for Smitty to go to Canada.
That would be pretty freaking sweet, man.
Without having to do the Neil Fallon and cross it when you distract the border guard.
Yeah, is there a rabbit over there? But, it's been one of those things where she gives me challenges, and I'm actually putting the work into all the therapy stuff, which I have noticed has started helping me quite a bit. I'm still dealing with anxiety, but it is not the bundle of what I was going through before, which I'm sure a lot of it is circumstantial, getting out of various situations that I was in, probably the divorce and things like that. That all kind of help unravel and unwrap some of the wires that are up in my brain. But she's like, challenge yourself to go do something like this every month, every other month, 6 weeks, whatever time frame you want to put in there that you feel comfortable. And so I got thinking about it. It's like, I've started walking more. I talked about that after my birthday. I walked like 6 miles in 2 days. And I noticed my feet, I've lost a little bit of weight and I can go further than I had been before. And now I'm noticing that in these longer distances, I'm getting halfway, 3/4 done. My feet are starting to hurt, some blisters, stuff like that. So I decided to go to Missouri Running Company, which is a local running store. They sell shoes, socks, clothing, knee braces, ankle braces, whatever sort of items you need, tracking, things of that nature. Yeah. And I'd read about it, and they've been open in Cape for, I would say, 10 years or more at this point. They've been there for a hot minute. And so I was like, okay, this sounds good, because what they do, you can go in, they'll analyze your feet. They have you stand on this platform that kind of heats up. It's heat activated, so it shows your arches. It shows where you're putting all the weight when you stand. So, if you're putting more weight on the front right, the front left, your heel, things like that. And so after that, they'll analyze you walking. So he just had me walk toward the door, walk back from the door, probably 2 or 3 times. He would watch my knees, my ankles, my feet, what I think they call it pronation or something along those lines. So he basically just watched me walk for a minute, roughly. And he goes, okay, I have a few ideas for shoes. Can you tell me what kind of shoes that you've normally worn? Because the pair of shoes I had on were just this worn out old pair of Sauconys that I've had for a good 5 years at this point. And he's like, I see you've got Sauconys on, and those are pretty good. How are those? I was like, honestly, these shoes are just worn out. They're work shoes. That's the only purpose they serve. It's like, right now I have a pair of Adidas. They fit well, but not a lot of comfort in them, not a lot of padding. They were a mid-tier price range as far as what I paid for. And I was like, they do the job, but obviously now that I can walk further distances, not doing the job. And so he's like, okay, bet. He's like, what other brands have you tried before? And I told him, Asics and Reeboks and all these other shoes that I've tried over the years. So he comes back with a stack of 4 or 5 different brands of shoes. And I was like, oh, okay. We're getting serious with this. And each one had a different feature than the other one. One had more padding, on the soles. One of them had, like, you've seen some of the shoes now where the soles have the thick pads to them.
Yeah.
That it's like there's more sole than there is to a shoe body on some of them. I tried a pair of New Balance that was like that, and he said that pair has more spring and rebound to it. And then this pair has more of a close shell on top of your foot, so your foot fits more snug to the insole. These insoles are thicker in arch spots. It was just a variety of things. So I tried a pair of Brooks. I tried a pair of Diadora. I tried a pair of the New Balance, and I tried a pair of Asics. And I really liked the Brooks and the Asics. The New Balance, I don't know if you've walked in any of those shoes that are like that.
They were under consideration when we did our family trip to Disney, because the ratings and reviews for that type of walking where you're doing like 20 or 30,000 steps in a day, that's going to save you in the long run. It's like, yeah, but I don't necessarily want to blow out a pair of shoes that I'm just getting for this trip when they are a little bit on the high side. So,
did you actually try them on, though?
I did not, no, because this was an online order that we were looking at doing. So,
before you do, go try a pair of these on. Because that is the weirdest sensation ever. Because you actually feel the shock absorption in these shoes, and you feel a springing rebound in your feet from these shoes. And it's like a natural flow for your shoes like that, for your feet.
Weird.
And you just kind of bounce up. And he's like, honestly, if you were doing longer running on harder surfaces, this would be what you would want to look for, because it saves so much of your knees and ankles. And I was like, I get that, but I do not like this feeling whatsoever. So ultimately, it came down to a few pairs, and I ended up going with the Diadoras, which is an Italian brand that's it's very well known in the soccer world, and they've translated the technology of that over into walking and running shoes. And had never heard of them before as far as the running shoes go. Like, I'd seen the name mentioned in the FIFA games, I believe, and the little bit of soccer that I've watched and read. So I was familiar with the name, just not in this, but they fit like my foot just right in there like a glove. It didn't move. It didn't do anything. It had the perfect amount of arch support, and in walking, it was padded, not super springy. There's a bit of that in it. But, dude, these are the most comfortable shoes I have ever owned in my entire life. I paid a little bit more than what I like to pay. They were more of a premium price, but for what I'm getting out of them, I'm going to take it, So,
well, and I don't recall you ever saying anything about having like major outstanding feet issues or like, I know that you've had knee issues on account of you bashing against your desk at least once or twice a week, but and this is one of those desks that would have survived, like you would crawl under it to survive a nuclear blast.
Yes.
And it would still be standing even though he would be fully irradiated. One of those type of desks.
Yeah.
So he's doing significant damage to the knee for sure. But again, I wasn't aware, like, if you needed to go, like my dad, he had to go to the Good Feet store for different insoles to help him out. And it's really helped him significantly with his just overall pain. And I don't remember if it's hip related or his lower back, what was really impacted by it. But, even Danny, one of our friends, has had to go to something like that because he was having some foot issues, foot pain. For me, I've got gimp ankles. I'm never going to be a figure skater. I'm never going to be an ice skater of any kind because I've rolled them so hard. And one time went to urgent care and they said, yeah, your x-ray's clean, but you're going to wish you broke that thing. That's how badly I messed it up by rolling them. But both on two separate occasions. And so that's more of an achy sensation the next day, less of I've walked too long, now it's sore. It's in my lower back, and I think that may be due to the fact that I don't have enough heel support. But, like, did you have anything of that beforehand, or was that just from the excess walking that you've been doing that you noticed, I could really stand to have something better here?
Yeah, it was more from the excess walking because pretty well, I've always been good at, walking throughout the course of a day, not really having to sit down, when we've been on family trips and things, we're up and moving a lot. Never really bothered me a whole lot. I've got the ankle pains like you because I've rolled my ankles in basketball and baseball and things. And the lower back stuff will affect me after a while, but it's never been anything to the point where something felt out of place and something felt like it wasn't working right. Just basically getting old issues, usage issues, and things like that. That's really all I've been dealing with.
The warranty has long since worn out.
Yeah, we're well past that 100,000-mile 5-year powertrain sort of thing. So it was just basically one of those things where if I'm going to be somewhat serious about this walking and I'm enjoying it the way that I am, I might as well do more than what I had been. And now that I have a little bit more financial flexibility, that's kind of what also led me to reconsider this place because I know the brands they carry are the ones that are more geared for, performance and for making sure that you can do these 5Ks and marathons and things like that. So, I went in there and the price it wasn't as bad as what I was expecting some of those things to be. Again, higher than what I like to spend on shoes because I'm still that old. If I can get it off the clearance rack for $30-$40 and they look good enough, that's the pair of shoes I'm going to wear for 2 years. It's kind of my approach to shoes.
As a Walmart shoe kid for my early years, even into high school, early high school, Walmart shoe kid, I can respect that methodology, sir. I definitely get a little gaggy when it's you look at Jordans, you think, okay, this is going to be a little pricey. If it's a custom shoe, I get it. Oh, man, I wish that was a little cheaper because that is so cool. But then you see others like, what's the brand? I can't, I can picture the logo, but not And One. God, I can't think of the brand. Under Armour. The Under Armour shoes. Yeah. I tried on a pair of those years ago. I think we may have still been down in Cape at a Kohl's. I tried a pair on, slipped on like butter. I wasn't going to spend $100 on a pair of shoes that I'm walking and then sitting at work in. That's literally all I'm doing. I'm not running. I'm not playing pickup games of basketball. There's no reason for me to spend that amount of money on that.
Right. And that's exactly, honestly, any other pair of shoes I'm going to get, it's going to be like that, because I'm totally cool. I've got a pair of Adidas Everydays. I think they're $40 or $50. I've got some Chuck Taylors. I'm going to get a pair of the low top Vans, and they're all still in that $40, $50 range. That's normally, it fits my style. I don't care about the stuff like that. And to the same effect, I was a Walmart shoe kid. I wore Spaldings and Voigts and all that stuff like that. And I wanted to be a sneakerhead because I loved 90s basketball shoes. That was one of the most wonderful eras of that. But for one, before I had my own money, my parents were like, I am not spending that kind of money on a tennis shoe that you are just going to destroy. Yep. And then when I got my own money, it was, I'm not going to spend my own money because I know what I had to do to earn it. And I'm gonna tear those things up. So yeah, that's kind of where my mentality was with it. So yeah, that was my first big thing that I did on Saturday, and walked out of there feeling really accomplished. And then after that, it wasn't a big thing that I went and did. I went and got my first tattoo. So maybe it was kind of a big thing.
Not a big thing at all. No, not an issue.
You can see it here.
Maybe.
Well,
if you can contort in a way that you'd see it.
Say, yeah. It's on the underside. It's on the inside of my forearm here. You can kind of.
There we go.
There we go. All right. So what it says is, "Love you, son, Dad." And this was written on the inside of the last birthday card that my dad, I believe it was the last birthday card that Dad gave me before he got sick. And at the time, I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to the writing inside, because me and Dad were the eternal teenagers in that we always appreciated farts, fart jokes, the sound of farts. We always laughed at them. And so this card, it had something on the front of it. When you open it up, it was one of those open activated cards. So you open it up and it's farting. And so we just laughed at that the whole time. Stuffed it in the envelope, threw it, put it in my drawer. And then I found it several months back, was doing some cleaning, and I found it. And I was like, holy crap, Dad wrote in this. And this was not too long after he'd passed away. And I was like, holy crap, Dad wrote in this. Because I'd already got an idea in my mind that's like, I wish I could find something with Dad's handwriting on it. A note. I would have loved to have had one of his old Gone Fish and Be Back Later notes or something, but I'm sure those all got thrown away. But I found this, and I was like, man, it says, "Love you, son, Dad" on it. I was like, gosh dang, that would be really cool for a tattoo idea. That was as far as I got. And so here recently, you and I have been talking off screen about tattoos. You've got, we've had multiple ideas.
I've got ideas, okay?
Yeah, and in fact, you said you have one that's pretty well ready to go. You just got to get to your buddy that does them, and over the past few weeks, it seemed like we'd had these conversations a bit more frequently. And in fact, the other day, I'd done some photoshopping of that on my arm, just like, man, what do you think about this? And so Saturday, I was just like, you know what? I've kind of been saying, I think I might go get a tattoo, and I'm just going to be, I'm doing it. I had it in mind Saturday morning. I was like, after work, I am absolutely going to do this. So the place I chose, ironically, was where my ex-wife got all of her tattoos except for one done. But I chose it because, one, I've seen the quality of work that comes out of there on her, on friends of ours, just being in the place and following the people on social media. I've seen what all their artists can do. It is good quality. And the vibe that is in there is just really cool. I enjoy the vibe. It always had a sense of camaraderie between the artists going on. The artists would, just joke with the people they were working with, and the artists would joke with one another. And the owner just seemed like he was pretty chill and just letting all this cool stuff happen. They always had something on Netflix, something funny, or had music going. And so the vibe of the studio, I was like, I dig this. If I'm going to have to sit in a chair, there's nothing about this that makes me feel like I'm out of place or like it's not a welcoming place. So they opened up at noon. I walked in probably about a quarter after, 12:30 or something like that, and literally the only person that was in there was the owner, just sitting there. And I walked in, he's like, "What's up, dude?" And I was like, I don't have an appointment, but am I going to be able to get a tattoo today? And he's like, "Yeah, what do you got? What do you got? What do you want?" And I showed him the picture that I had, because I had taken a picture of the card and had the background removed out of it and enhanced the text a little bit to make it a bit more dark and clear. And he looked at us like, "That's a 10-minute tattoo for me, man. Let's go." And so I filled out, like, there's the waiver form that you fill out with all your information. And he took a picture of it, went back and made some stencils, and came out. He's like, "Is that good? Do we need to resize it?" "Let's resize it." Okay. And so he placed it a couple different places on my arm, and he goes, "Honestly, this is a good spot, especially if you're wanting to build around it. You've got something that's kind of central. And if this is, this is a good location as far as this being your first tattoo." He's like, "Pain-wise, you're not going to notice a whole lot." And I was like, "Oh, are you sure about that?" Because it seems like I do notice a lot of things when it comes to that.
You don't know me.
But yeah, honestly, the only time I felt something was in one little spot, kind of toward the bottom of my arm, in the D. He had where Dad had made kind of a loop, and I could tell when he went over a spot that he had just done, and it just felt like a big scratch. And I was just like, well, if this is it, I completely understand why so many people say that once you get one, you're going to want more. And I mean, by the time I was done with that, I was already thinking, there's more that are absolutely coming. But just a great first tattoo experience. Not only was it something that was painless, I wasn't even in there 30 minutes from start to finish, filling out waiver forms and him getting the stencils, doing it, the post-treatment and everything, 30 minutes at most. I mean, in and out. And so quick and painless. The only thing that could have made this better would have been if our buddy Johnny T would have been able to do it. You know, Johnny T passed away a few years ago. He was just getting ready to launch his own studio, had already built a name and a reputation off the work he did in other places. And I would love if he would have been the one that was able to do it. But I was, at the same time, very thankful that I was able to just walk in, and they get me in, and he's like, yeah, dude, no problem. And at the end of it, I was like, this means a lot to me. And he's like, I can tell. And he's like, I'm glad you let me do it. And I was like, yeah, thank you because I can look down at this every day. It says, love you, son, Dad on it. And it's with me every day. And so, like, you know, sometimes I've even got to the point where I've already started not noticing it. And sometimes I'll like, what's on my arm? Oh yeah, that. And then I catch a moment looking at it, it's like, hell yeah, Dad. So yeah, that was my big day Saturday. So it felt good to be able to get out and do some of these things that I had been wanting to do and thinking about doing for so long and actually doing them. So, you know, just more baby steps in the rewiring of my brain up there.
Dude, and that's, I know for some people that is, hey, I'm going to be impulsive. I'm going to go out and get a tattoo. Sure, why not? I'll do the get what you get machine that's in a tattoo shop. I don't even have an appointment. I'm just going to pop in. Oh, hey, I'll do this. Why not?
Yeah.
That's definitely not in our DNA.
No.
And the fact that we are of a certain age, of a certain vintage, it's taken a while. So, again, I think if we're going to get the grown-up sticker book put on ourselves, it's because it's something that means a lot to us. It's something that's going to be special. I mean, for lack of a better word, obviously yours is on a completely different level than some of the other stuff that we've talked about. But you and I, off mic, have talked about a tribute to your dad and your grandpa. And this obviously is specific to your dad and to you. We've talked about some other goofy things that if we had the money, if we had the time, this would be cool. This would be cool. And again, you've already got the feeling for what one feels like, and you've got a tattoo shop and a artist. I don't know about any of the other artists there, if you get something from somebody else, but again, with the artists that you have, with the shop you have, with the connection that everything's going, and just the thought process of, well, if I do get another one, here's a cool idea. The worst you can do is go in, say, hey, you did such a great job. Would you be willing to help me out here to more solidify this idea I've got? And who knows, maybe they'll pull something out of the woodwork with their skills that never even occurred to you or me.
Right. And that's kind of the idea that I've got going into it, which to give a shout out, Jason at Black Velvet Tattoos in Cape. Phenomenal freaking job. And yeah, he's like, because I kind of told him, I was like, I would like to tie all this together. Ultimately, left arm is going to be the family memorial type arm, family stuff. Right arm is going to be the fun arm when I get to that. But I was like, I've already got a few things kind of in mind that I would like to do to tie all this together. And I told him fishing and pool and racing and just all the things in my family that is all connected. And he's like, man, anytime you start getting ideas, just holler at me. And I've seen some of his artwork that he's done on other people that he's created, and he's there. So I absolutely would have this guy do more of what I want done. And there's some other artists in that studio as well that I've seen what they can do, and I would feel comfortable with any of them doing something going forward. So yeah, just basically anybody in Black Velvet that, if Jason can't get to me, then there's several others that I'd be like, well, if you can't do it, then one of them, absolutely. So just stick
And even if you're not in the market for a tattoo right now, or you're listening to us from somewhere nowhere close to Cape Girardeau, definitely check out their socials. I know you had passed along the link as to, I don't remember if you sent me a few of their stuff before you got your tat, or if you'd shared a lot of their stuff after you had been in, just to kind of give me the idea of, oh, this is the artist that did it, and he's actually the owner. So.
Yeah, I think it was after the fact. I kind of sent you everybody that was there. So, but
it's great stuff. And again, where is that located? Because again, we have been out of Cape for a hot minute.
It's down on Main Street, or on Broadway, kind of halfway down Broadway going to Main Street. Do you remember where the music store is, Shivelbein?
Yeah.
It's on that same stretch right down through there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just right there. So actually, I think 3 buildings down from Shivelbein. And if you remember where the big parking lot is there on the corner at the end of that block, if you park in that parking lot, there's the boot store on the corner. They're right next to the boot store.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. So
easy to find.
Right there, easy peasy to get in and out.
Heck yeah.
Did you walk in with your new shoes to get your tattoo, or were they left in the box?
They were left in the box because I had some time to kill, and I was just walking around downtown Cape for a little bit, and I was like, it would be just my luck that this would be the time that I would step in mud, or there would happen to be a dog pee on my shoes, or something stupid like that. It's like, oh yeah, I just spent all this money on these shoes, and now they're dirty. So yeah, I decided to leave the shoes in the box just because I know me.
It's not a bad shout. And plus, you were a bastard and sent me some Andy's frozen custard special items a while back, and that would have been the thing. Karma would have come back and got you, and you would have dropped a big dollop on it on the top of your new shoe.
Right. which I didn't go get any of that stuff, but it absolutely would have fallen right on my foot. So, yeah.
Them's the rules. Well, that's the check-in with us, and let's move along to pop culture. I don't know if you've got much, but I've kind of got my tie-in to what could be the main event. So pop culture coming up next.
Hey.
And we are back, off topic, on brand, pop culture time. And Smitty, I'm going to let you lead things off. What do you got?
Man, I've been looking at video games more here lately. The first thing I really want to talk about, and it's one that you and I have talked about away from here, is a game called Mouse P.I. for Hire. In this game, I just the rubber hose style animation of this game that goes back to the 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Yep.
That alone, before I had seen anything else about this game, I was like, what is this? Because this looks so cool. It's like all the Disney stuff kind of melted into this game. It's black and white. It's an old noir style first-person shooter. And the thing that I didn't know until this past week is that the main character named Jack Pepper is voiced by Troy Baker. One
and only Troy Baker. That dude.
The Troy Baker.
And you and I also, as a spin-off conversation to that, once you spread that word to me, it is stupidly insane how, and I don't want to say underrated, because Troy Baker is definitely not an underrated voice actor.
Oh, not at all.
But on the grand scheme of the overarching voiceover category, you think of Mel Blanc, you think of all these different voice actors and actresses. Troy Baker on the GOAT list has got to be up there at this point. And I know for a certain sect of people, they do recognize him as, oh my God, he's in it. It's going to be at least somewhat entertaining.
Absolutely.
But I really don't think the majority of people that are watching or consuming media that he's in realize what a phenomenal voice actor he truly is.
Oh, and just so diverse in what he can do. He's got a good range. He can do, very dry, very animated. You're exactly right. Underrated probably isn't the word, but appreciated potentially, or just not well known enough. As you were saying, extrapolated into the grand scheme of things, maybe enough people just don't know about him, because it does seem like a lot of what he does steers toward the video game world of voice work. But everything that I have ever heard him in, he kills it, and is one of those guys that you pretty much get to recognize his voice, and you're like, oh, there's Troy Baker, there's Troy right there. And he was out in Springfield this past weekend at the Comic-Con, and I've been like, oh, that would have been so, because of all the people that were there, it's like on top of all of them, Alan Tudyk and Jamie Presley and everybody else, all these people, it's like, there's Troy Baker, and be like, oh, that would be so cool. But he is Jack Pepper, which is an anthropomorphic. That word always trips me up.
You were getting there. You almost had it.
Anthropomorphic, hard-boiled mouse detective. And this gameplay includes both investigative sections where Jack has to find clues and solve puzzles, as well as combat sections where he engages in shootouts, wielding a variety of guns, melee weapons, and cartoon gadgets, which I only hope means the squeeze it with the boxing glove thing or something like that. I hope it is stuff like that. The game actually releases the 16th, which is tomorrow. We're recording on the 15th, so the game will release on the 16th. So by the time you're hearing this, the game will be out. I believe I might look into it, because I think it's one of the lower end $30 price range type games. I might look into that for the weekend. But even ahead of it, some of the releases, or some of the reviews, the early reviews coming in, PC Gamer has given it an 86 out of 100, saying it's a slick, accomplished shooter that's more than just eye-grabbing, or that's more than just an eye-grabbing art style. And then Gamer Social Club gave it an 8.5 out of 10, saying Mouse PI for Hire is a great send-up to old cartoons and detective stories, as well as being a pretty good old-school style first-person shooter. There's a lot to like here with its fun gunplay, solid story and characters. It's got funny animations and a good soundtrack. Although its difficulty may not be enough for hardcore fans of the genre, and some things can hurt its replay value, it's a great package overall. And then IGN was one of the lower ones. They gave it a 6 out of 10, which IGN likes to really steer heavy towards AAA, high-end, the big studio games. Like, they kind of fluff them up a bit. Like, they gave the WWE 2K games just phenomenal ratings, coming straight out, because they're 2K and Activision and the big names like that. And I've noticed that a lot of the smaller indie houses and some of the games that don't pick up quite as much steam as some of the others kind of might get, I'm not going to say it's unfair, but it seems like they get put under the microscope a bit more. Maybe the goalposts are getting moved back. But IGN said Mouse PI for Hire is an amusing enough first-person shooter if you just want to blast some cartoon mice and not think about it too hard. But its haphazard marriage of noir storytelling and boomer shooter action are at odds in uncomfortable ways that weaken both aspects. Which I can understand that, because sometimes first-person shooters, you're not going to have a lot of replay value. It's a one and done unless it's got multiple ending options.
Yeah.
But overall, to me, this game, I think I might have to be a day one purchaser, just because of it's a first person shooter, and we're of that age that we grew up, first person shooter, the Dooms and the Duke Nukems,
the Wolfensteins, the Duke Nukems. Yes, that was absolutely a staple. And not only that, but the first person shooter genre, I think with this, I don't want to say it dumbs it down, but because of this style of animation, I think it's going to be a lot easier to consume versus the, hey, look, here's the newest Doom and here's the newest whatever. And it's like, there's too much shit going on. I can't focus on what I'm supposed to be doing here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what kind of got me out of Call of Duty when it became such a competitive online multiplayer thing. Halo was fun because Halo it was a very good evolution from GoldenEye and Perfect Dark in the games on the 64. And then, the PS1 era or PS2 era came along. You had Medal of Honor was popular in the World War II era, Battleground, or I think it's Battleground, Battlefield, maybe Battlefield. Though regardless, they were still kind of finding their own. And then Halo comes along and makes it multiplayer competitive even more so. And then, just Call of Duty became such a thing what it is, and the microtransactions for advantages and things like that. That kind of killed it for me, and also the fact of respawning just to come around a corner and a 10-year-old talking dirty things about my mama and stuff like that. It kind of turned me off, and I lost interest in first-person shooters just in that regard. But I think this, which they mentioned the difficulty and might be a turnoff to people, for me, I think that is perfect because that's a good way. You have a familiar looking animation style. Like people can see that and think, oh yeah, that's kind of like watching an old Disney movie. And to be able to jump into it and have the old gangsta say type stuff going on, to me, all of that just sounds so incredibly fun. And so I don't know how long it's going to be. You know, the BioShock games, probably 20 hours of gameplay is something that we can think of. I would say probably in that 20-ish hour mark is going to be the story length. I wouldn't expect it to be a whole lot more because with first-person shooters, you can't really explore a whole lot unless you're going into first-person exploration along the lines of Fallout, Elder Scrolls, things of that nature, which branch off more into RPG, you know, first-person RPG type exploration stuff. I don't think that's what this is. I don't expect it to be that. I expect it just to be a very tight story, and you go through it, and when you're done, you're like, well, that was fun. And I hope that's exactly all they deliver with it. So if a game is only going to get like a 7 out of 10 rating, but has that fun playability to me, absolutely. And if the price is in that $30, $40 range, even better. I am all in on it.
And the criticism for the difficulty may not be as hard. We don't need it to be as hard as Cuphead.
No,
I think you and I talked about that from the very first screenshot we saw of this game. It's like, as long as it doesn't play like Cuphead, because, God, that game is so cool, but Jesus, talk about wanting to rage quit from the second you start playing it.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not good at Souls-like games at all, because those are the games that reward you for learning patterns. They reward you for very much figuring out the workings of a game. Cuphead reminded me of the old games that I played back in the day that was hard just to be hard. There was really no rhyme or reason other than this game's hard and it looks cool as hell, but this game's hard. And so you're wanting to launch controllers. I get it. I very much get it.
Yeah, and the current day controllers are not built as heartily as the NES or SNES or Sega controllers used to be. So, not necessarily a great thing to rage quit on that.
Yeah.
For me, pop culture wise, one or two things I want to throw out there. Number one, I got completely blindsided today. Shout out to Mills. He hit me at like, oh my God, it was probably 8:30 this morning, so I was already staying home with my daughter. Was setting up the laptop for remote work just in case they needed me to jump in and do something. And he said, here, let me get to the exact quote. Okay, 7:34. Oh, dude, and a YouTube link. Usually when he sends me something like that, it's either something ridiculous to where, oh my God, people are so stupid, or it's a music-related thing. And because there was no laughing face next to it or a follow-up laughter emoji, I was like, this has to be music-wise. And then he says, look close. So I was looking for an Easter egg while I was clicking on this video. The band Seosin.
Okay.
They have been around for 20 some odd years now. I remember distinctly, and I made this comment after I watched the video and listened to the song. I'm back in 2006 at the Rage 1037 studio on the SEMO campus. They sound as good as they've ever sounded. I didn't realize they had the turnover they did. Their original singer left the band for the gentleman that is currently in the band. He had left. The OG singer came back, and they wrapped up about 10 years ago. They haven't put anything out since.
Really?
And now they are back. They are, again, I don't want to say the original singer, but the most well-known singer, the one that really got him on the stage in that 06 era. And then the person that he told me to look close for, it is the guitarist from As I Lay Dying.
Really?
The original guitarist who obviously Tim Lambethis has annexed everyone from the band, caused them to jump ship.
Screw that guy.
Yeah, he's a dick face, but
he's
neither here nor there. But yeah, Phil from As I Lay Dying is now the guitarist for Season. And that's a whole nother layer of this band is awesome. And I had seen their name on a few lineups coming forward. We'd talked about these big festival shows, and Season. Wow, I haven't thought about them in quite a long time. And I've got one or two songs on my Spotify, and my wife does too. Again, that screamo-y era of our music lives. Dude, I don't know if you ever got a chance to listen to it or not, but this song is killer. And I wound up sharing it with like 10 other people that were in college with us. And it's like, I'm back at the campus station. I don't know what's happening here.
I haven't listened to it yet, and I think I even told you this when you sent me the link. I was like, Season is one of those bands I remember, I know the name of, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. I remember, like Johnny T and some of those guys.
Yeah.
That was what they were into, and I think that was around that time when I was getting more stonery, doomy, sludgy, kind of drifting that direction, and a lot of the screamo-y things never really stuck with me from that era. I'm going back now and re-listening to a lot of things from that era and picking up on it, some of the bands that I didn't at that time. So, yeah, if you can direct me beyond just this new song, I'm going to listen to the new one. If you can direct me beyond there, where I need to start, I'll absolutely check out Season.
Well, and that's the thing, too. Like, Season was always one of those solid groups, but they were never one that I was like, oh, my God, I got to go buy all their merch. I got to download all their music. I got to buy these CDs. It was never one of those, but anytime they came on, I never had anything negative to say about them. It was just like, hey, this is a cool song. I think, and I don't necessarily even know if it's the chemistry with the band or if it's just it hit me at the right time this morning or what, but this song clicked hard, and it's definitely going to make me go back into the recesses of, well, wait a minute, what was on this album? What was on this album? And do one of those deep dives to refresh my memory. But yeah, I can't recommend this one enough, especially with some of the newer bands either you've jumped back onto or you're getting into of that same vein, if that makes any sense. They're a little bit more mellow than some of the other ones that we've thrown out, definitely than my stage on the off-topic festival stages. But yeah, for sure, definite fun pre-summer song that came out, and definitely a cool one to add to the playlist. So that was my first bit of pop culture news. And then the other bit, Wrestlemania is coming up this weekend, and whether you're a diehard pro wrestling fan or just somebody that is around it in general, and you've listened to the podcast, so you know that we have some thoughts on pro wrestling. But it's funny. If my daughter was not as into the WWE as she has become, I can honestly say I would be falling back down to, I'm just reading what's happened via results or going to YouTube to see what happened during this segment, shy of a Danhausen appearance where I have to go find it immediately. Really? And looking at the world of wrestling and what I have access to, and granted, high school me, middle school me would be slapping me square in the face. How dare you? You have all this access. You have all these hours of content. And what are you talking about? You're going to step away from it? What's wrong with you? But the most entertaining show on, not even television, on YouTube right now is AAA.
Really?
AAA, which is a Mexican promotion, Lucha Libre, that has been around for some time. and I don't want to get into the history and the legacy of why AAA exists and CMLL and their rivalry and this, that, the other. But in the last year, WWE has stepped in, and I don't know if they have full ownership or if it's a partnership or it's we own it, but you can still run it, blah, 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 blah. But they have been doing a Saturday evening television show for all intents and purposes, and they've been airing it on YouTube for free.
Really?
You don't need to have YouTube Red. You don't need to have a subscription to anything. You can just sign in and watch it.
Do they do it live on Saturdays, or is it recorded and then aired?
That I don't know. I do know that for a few events, Corey Graves is the main commentator, and he's fantastic as the lead announcer. So good on him. But then they were running it with Conan. It was a 3-man booth. It was Corey, JBL, and Conan.
Oh, okay. Reba La Raza back in the day. Olele. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Conan. So, and he at one point was the Mexican version of Hulk Hogan in AAA in Mexico. There was no bigger star at that point, which is funny because people think Lucha Libre, you're going to think Rey Mysterio at this point, and justifiably so. But Conan was bigger than Eddie. Conan was bigger than Rey Mysterio. Conan was bigger than, you name the Lucha superstar of his era and slightly after, there was no one bigger.
Wow.
He was breaking box office records and blah, 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 blah. Well, Conan was a little less than enthusiastic on the microphone. Not that he was saying anything ignorant, but it was like, way to bring down the excitement here.
He's like, I'm just here because I'm obligated.
Kind of. Well, at some point, they stopped doing them all live in Mexico or wherever the promotion was doing their event at. And now they've got the normal AAA in Spanish commentators that are live at the venue. They are doing a voiceover of the event. So it's Corey, JBL, and now Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio is also doing the translation. So when the promos are being spoken in Spanish, he's overdubbing while they're doing it.
Okay, that's cool.
So it's kind of cool. It's a familiar voice, and he's obviously well vested in that world, knows this, that, and the other. But so again, I don't know if they're doing it live to tape. I don't know if it's a little bit of a tape delay, but it doesn't air until 9 o'clock Central Time for us on a Saturday. So it's always fun to kind of kick that on after we're done watching a movie or a sporting event gets wrapped up. Oh, hey, we can kick that on. But within the last few months, I know it's been less than 6, The Undertaker is the one that's running the show.
Wait, what?
So,
rest in peace, Undertaker?
Yeah. We have, on the grand scheme of the WWE promotion, for the creative side on the main roster, we've got Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Yeah.
For NXT, who Papa H had run the show and made the black and gold era super fun, and it was the best thing in wrestling for a long time.
Oh, absolutely.
Now Shawn Michaels is running that.
Above.
Yeah, and now Shawn Michaels is running creative there.
And not doing too bad.
No, surprisingly not, considering that, and again, for all the good that Shawn has done on his redemption tour post being a piece of shit and really being a druggie and everything else, and he's self-admitted, he's done his apology tour for sure, but he was not a great teacher. He's one that was very much I have a wrestling school, but I don't really do a lot of the teaching on my own. It's like, watch me, but I can't really explain how I'm doing it.
This is how you're supposed to do it, but I'm not going to walk you through it.
Creatively, though, I think that's where his spark is. That's what he can do, and he can surround himself with people that can better explain. Well, somehow, Mark Calloway, a.k.a. The Undertaker, has taken over the creative for AAA. And again, I don't know how much of that is, it's kind of a committee with the previous bookers and or creative that were with the promotion before are helping him to translate a lot of the ideas he has to the Mexican audience, or if it's all him. But whatever it is, 1 hour every week, it's the best thing that's happening right now. And again, it's my opinion, just my opinion. But everything they're doing, from the AAA talent that they are intermingling with WWE talent, to WWE storylines that they are carrying over to AAA that are more important there than they ever would be on the main roster, to just the AAA talent being spotlighted against other AAA talent. It's so great. And there are so many different wrestlers that I've encountered throughout my fandom that are there. There's characters that have been passed down, like La Parka. It's like, I think
the chairman.
The third guy to do the persona is the one doing it now. It's not the chairman of the board, unfortunately, anymore. But again, just seeing that gimmick out there, and there are a handful of others that are they go into the legacy storyline of, this was supposed to be this person's inheritance. They were going to get this character, and now, oh no, it's been given to someone else, and now he's battling to get his family, blah, blah, blah. So again, there's a lot of soap opera stuff involved, and very lucha heavy, and they're going to really put a lot of emphasis on the El Grande Americano character.
Of course, yeah.
They've finally decided, and it's not going to be at like WrestleMania. It's going to be at the biggest show that AAA puts on every year.
Is that their Triplemania that they do?
So it's the next one after that. Okay. I can't remember what the title is, and forgive me for living in a high Hispanic populated area, and I don't know jack shit about how to pronounce it. But yeah, they're going to do a mask versus mask match. It's been made official. So it's like, ooh, that's the best place to do this at, because it's not going to be a comedy thing.
Yeah.
They are going to fight like it's to the death. And that's fantastic. Something that started as a stupid joke to tease the other luchadors, and now it's a real thing. And the part that makes me laugh the hardest is the second El Grande Americano that stepped in. He was supposed to be the bad guy. Everybody was supposed to boo this person. And no, he got over so big in Mexico that he's a face. And he's doing everything as a heel. Everything that he does is like a heel. And it's like Dominic Mysterio. Dominic, when he goes down there, he's not a face at all. He's not a good guy whatsoever. He's getting so many cheers.
Oh, wow.
He's getting like John Cena pops on his return tour.
Really?
It's stupid. And it's so entertaining. And I don't know if it's because it's kind of that Elseworlds deal where it's like, this is backwards. I don't understand what's happening. Or if it's legitimately like, this is entertaining TV, and you don't have to sit through 3 hours of it. You don't have to sit through 47 promos to get to a match. And I don't want to watch a full hour-long one match. I don't need that. And I don't need it to be nothing but high spots. But make it entertaining. Make it make sense. And you and I have talked countless times about pro wrestling. It's like, yeah, that was cool, but the rest of the match was kind of eh.
Yeah.
Or the scenario of, well, we've talked about it before, deathmatch wrestling. Unless there's really a purpose for it, unless there's like, oh, this is going to end the feud, this is going to be the like Hell in a Cell. We don't need to do Hell in a Cell once a year just because that's the name of the pay-per-view. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there's something about gratuitous violence for the sake of gratuitous violence that in the world of wrestling, to me, just doesn't that's not my thing. And I know people that love it for that reason.
Yeah.
I can't do it. But I'm absolutely going to have to check out the AAA stuff, because it sounds like it's got a vibe of the old black and gold NXT, which, as you said, was just in its time when they debuted that on the original $9.99 WWE network. That was the weekly. It was out kicking everything. To me, it was still better than Raw. It was a lot better than SmackDown, and it was a great way to get the WWE product, but getting all these indie guys that were coming in at the time getting signed, and it was very much different. And I love that. And the AAA sounds like it's got a similar vibe. I've seen like, is it Vikingo?
Yes.
Is that how you say his name? That dude can do some phenomenal stuff. And I love the fact that Mr. Iguana and Psycho Clown and Hydra and people like that have just gotten over so much by being on WWE main programming. So it seems like the relationship is working out pretty well. It sounds like the people that they send down there have been accepted, and it kind of, to me, sounds like a best of both worlds, because I'm very much in what you were saying where you would be if it wasn't for your daughter. Wrestling, I'm kind of on the side of it right now. It just doesn't appeal to me, and it's not anything in particular. It just doesn't grab my attention.
Yeah.
I like Oba. I think Oba's cool as hell. That dude's just a powerhouse. I like Trick Williams. I think he's cool. Danhausen, obviously, but we've known about Danhausen, what, 9-10 years at this point, it seems like.
God, yeah.
Since he's been doing that. Since he's been doing that. And I even remember seeing him on indie cards before he debuted the Danhausen gimmick he's doing now, when he was still Dominic Danhausen. And he kind of looked like he was somewhere between trying to be Finn Balor, but not fully embracing the demon side. He had some face paint and everything, but he wasn't fully to where he needed to be. And so there's people that I do like, but some of it just doesn't grab me right now, and that's okay. Yeah, I can come back to it at some point, and I think I would be the same. My middle school teenager me would be slapping my face right now, but I would also have to be like, look, kid, sit down. You don't know how overwhelming and exhausting this is, because there is so much. There's independent wrestling TV is out. You can catch one of hundreds of independent promotions that are anytime across the United States and the world. We have access to all of these major promotions that we never, ever had. And I don't know if you were like me back in the Monday Night Wars era and that surrounding time frame. Watch one show, record the other show, go back and watch the other show, something along those lines. Yeah, that was about the best we could do, other than if we got in on some tape trading at the time.
Yeah, and it was definitely not a scenario where a lot of guys, even our next door neighbor, was doing it during March Madness this year, where you've got umpteen TVs set up in your living room. We were not doing that during that era, for sure. But yeah, again, it's a fun time to be a wrestling fan, but it's a little overwhelming as well. And it's like, it's almost gotten to the point where I'm going to watch what I want to watch.
Yes. Got to pick. You really have to pick and choose. It's like, I'm going to focus on a person or a particular hour or this particular show or something like that, because other than that, the time investment just to stay current with it, you've really got to dedicate yourself to that.
Yeah, exactly. And I've thankfully been able to stay current, where it's not like when I'm asked, who is that? I don't have an answer. I am staying on it enough to be intelligent when it comes to if there's a call up from NXT or if there's someone that debuts in the Rumble. I know who it is. It's not like, wait, who the fuck is that? The real issue is, when we were growing up and being wrestling fans, everybody had the same music. Unless they had a big giant character switch, like obviously Hogan turning heel and doing the NWO, you knew you were going to get Voodoo Child instead of the American Made.
Yep.
But there are so many different music contract right things. Without any pomp and circumstance, all of a sudden, somebody's got a new song, and so, they hit the music. Who the hell is that?
Yeah. It's like,
and then
who do I need to react to?
And then you're focused more on, why the hell did they change the music?
Yeah. Kind of takes away a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then I feel bad for the wrestlers because they don't have any control over it. Unless they've been, like, purposefully behind changing their character, and they're like, no, I have to get new music to be a bad guy or be a good guy. Unless they're doing something like that where they're pushing it through, then they're stuck with, like, they're doing the Chris Van Vliet interview, and that's one of the first things they roll out of the gate. Poor Stephanie Vaquer, she didn't have shit to do with her music change.
Right?
But what do you want me to do about it?
Seems like
I'm not going to forfeit my title because they took my music away. Calm down.
And it just seems like such an arbitrary thing, too. It's like, why is this change being made? Why now? Like, I can understand it being made on big shows, big meaningful shows. If the music changes enough to affect the character, or affect the mood or the tempo or anything of that nature within the match, within the story, with all that. But if it's just on a random Monday night, somebody shows up to new music, it's like, why? What are you doing? Why didn't you save that for a house show, maybe? That'd make more sense.
Well, with that WrestleMania talk and wrestling talk, now would be the time to bring up what could be our main event.
I got you. What you got?
So, my daughter was very much a proponent when we said we were going to start doing this podcast of trying to coordinate us doing a tier ranking list. And I said, well, we don't really do that, but we could someday. You could help us with that. And she was kind of intrigued by it. But with WrestleMania coming up and her being the main reason why I want to watch and why I'm invested in some of the storylines, I kind of wanted to give her the opportunity to run down the card and not even do her prognostication. She might give her picks, I'm not sure, but the level of excitement you are with all of the matches from the two nights. What is the S tier? Oh my God, this is the whole reason why we're going to watch. To the D tier, which is, why is this even a thing? This shouldn't even be on Raw, let alone on this card. So I'm going to let her run that down. And we are back. I say we, but you notice things look a little bit different. No Smitty, and that's because, as we alluded to, if we were able to make it happen, we were going to incorporate a new person onto the podcast. That would be my daughter, Ahryn.
Hello.
So, we were able to get her homework done and stay up a little past her bedtime to do this. But Ahryn is so excited for WrestleMania 42. Isn't that right?
Right.
She's rocking her Alexa Bliss coat. I am Austin 316ing, and we want to talk about all things WrestleMania 42. So instead of doing the normal thing like everybody else on YouTube seems to be doing, where they're ranking the matches in regard to how they're not ranking matches and how excited they are. That's what we're going to do. They are doing the star ranking, what they think they're going to do and all that, and who they think's going to win. We are going to go and do something brand new, a little bit different. We're going to do Ahryn's excitement level for the matches themselves that have been announced. This is before Friday Night SmackDown, so anything could change in the WWE. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we do know the match listing as of April 16th. So, with WrestleMania coming up this weekend, Ahryn, we are going to run down the card for both nights, and you're just going to have us go in our ranking columns, tier list, 5 stars down to 0 stars. 0 stars, nobody wants to see that. 5 stars, that's the whole reason why we want to watch the show.
Either we want to watch a show or that's like one of the best matches, because we don't know, like, I might want a lot of 5 out of 5s, or I just want one 5 out of 5. I don't know yet. I don't remember all of them, honestly.
And again, with 2 nights, it makes it a little cumbersome. So we're going to run down the list, the match card from night 1 up to their main event, and see if it aligns with what Ahryn's thinking. The very first match of night 1, The Vision, Logan Paul and Austin Theory with I Show Speed going up against the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, and L.A. Knight. Yeah! So on this tier list, where do you think that match should go?
Either a 2 out of 5 or a 3 out of 5. I think I'll go a 3 out of 5 because it's not bad, but they've done this 4 or 5 times. Like, they fought for a while.
Well, the only new thing is I Show Speed. They're going to give him a chance to wrestle in a match, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
Yeah.
So the next match that we have is Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre in an unsanctioned match.
Okay, so I like that one really much. because they have been battling back to back on SmackDown, because I remember the one incident where they threw each other off of kind of like a building, but I think there was a mat below because they didn't just land hard, or else they would
Definitely not be in this match.
Yeah. So I think that this one would be a good 4 out of 5.
I think that's a good shout. All right, so that is 2 matches in, and let's go on to our next one. It's Stephanie Vaquer, the champion, against Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship, and they've been fighting really, really hard and cutting some pretty nasty promos on each other, and Stephanie even caused Liv to have that big goose egg on her forehead and black eyes going into this match. So what do you think on this one? Where were we going to rank this one?
I was going to go higher, but like for Liv and Stephanie, but they've had like this again for a while. And I thought like she would be good against Jade, because that would be like a really surprised match. Like it would be surprised if they did like Liv against Jade and then
Rhea
versus
Stephanie,
yeah.
So
But
what are we going to rank this one?
since Liv did a song on Raw this Monday, or
Yeah.
this Monday, she did a song, and I didn't really like it. It was kind of cringe. I don't know how to say it, but most people liked it. But I think that it would go at 3 out of 5, probably. Because this has also gone for a while, and I think that they could have, like, better match and unexpected match, and yeah.
The next one is another women's match, AJ Lee and Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental title.
Again, they've fought multiple times for WrestlePalooza, and then they fought at Elimination Chamber. I don't remember. I don't think AJ was in the Rumble. I don't think so, because she came back at WrestlePalooza, which was before, but I don't think that she was.
I don't remember.
In Royal Rumble.
I don't remember. But where do you think this one should go?
I'll give it, since like all the nasty promos and stuff, I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
All right. So then we go from that one to a giant match, another women's match, the Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax and Lash Legend versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Your girl, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and the Bella Twins, Brie and Nikki, in a 4-way match for the Women's Tag Team Championships. That's a lot of ladies in the ring all at one time. So what is your excitement level on that?
We are not big fans of the Bella Twins, because
I haven't been for a long time, and Ahryn really hasn't been that impressed by either one of them since they've come back.
yeah, but Brie came back in the Royal Rumble this year, and then Nikki came back last year for the Royal Rumble. And I do not really like them, but I like the rest of them. And I liked how Alexa and Charlotte had Ben & Jerry's ice cream when they were kind of depressed. And then, I like Lyra and Bayley, but this Bayley I don't really like that much. I like the Bayley, but I also don't, because like when she came back, she was different than when she was the last time, and I like the old Bayley kind of better. And then I like Lyra Valkyria, and I like Nia and Lash Legend, but Lash Legend is a new one of my favorites. And I think I'm really looking forward to that. But again, they've been fighting for a while, and like a lot of them have been fighting for a bit or a long time. So I feel like I'm really excited for this one. I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Really? That one's surprising to me. And then we have Seth Rollins versus Gunther. That is just a singles match, and it is one of the newer ones that's been announced for this card. What do you think about this one?
This one is really unexpected because I didn't know, like, Gunther would do anything with him. Like, because he's been retiring many other people, and I'm surprised that he wasn't going to go retire Brock Lesnar. And after he, like, attacked Seth Rollins, then we kind of knew that it was going to be a match. And I feel like that this would be a good match, and it was very unexpected, so I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one has a chance to be one of the better matches of the entire 2-night show. And now we've got one more match for night 1. It's Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton with Pat McAfee with Randy Orton for the WWE Undisputed Championship. And according to this, which I don't know when this stipulation came to be, if Randy loses, McAfee will leave professional wrestling for good, is what it says. So
like, he wouldn't commentary?
Nope. He would leave, and it says professional wrestling business for good. So he wouldn't even go to, like, AEW or ROH or TNA or anywhere.
He wouldn't go, like, to, he wouldn't go, I forget what, like,
AAA. Nope.
NXT.
Nope, he would be done.
Because SmackDown and Raw are, like, the main business, and like, NXT is, like, the starter, and then the Mexican business for AAA. For this one, I didn't really like the Royal Rumble winner at all, and I didn't really like I like Randy how he is now, but I don't like how, like, Cody is going up against him, because I think that Drew had the title, so I think that he would have been a good shot with him. But again, Drew's going up against with Fatu, and I think that would be a even better match. So I would rank this one a 2 out of 5.
Really?
Because there's Pat McAfee in there, and that they have been, like...
And maybe Jelly Roll, too.
Yeah, I don't like Jelly Roll at all.
All right, so that's everything from from night 1. Night 2 starts with Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar, and just a regular one-on-one match. But those guys are going to go at it.
I know that you would probably rate it a 5 out of 5, and I think... I think they did a contract signing, and then, but last week they did a contract signing, and then they both attacked each other, and then Triple H had to come out there, and then they did it separated. So.
Yep.
This is a tough one, but I think I'm gonna put it at a 5 out of 5.
Oh, really?
Just because they're both really big powerhouses, and they're really big. Like, Oba is 1 inch taller than him, which really surprised me. But
he's a big boy.
And he's really tall. And then Oba can lift him up, and so can Brock's.
Yep.
So I'm really
excited for that one. Okay, next match. It is a ladder match, a 6-pack ladder match for the Intercontinental title. Penta, Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Rusev, and Rey Mysterio Jr.
Rey Mysterio Jr.? Okay. Well... Penta, Javon, and JD are my 3 top picks, what I want to win. Because Penta is one of my favorites, and he's already the Intercontinental title, or title man. And
Champion.
And then JD, I like him, but I don't really like how they turned on Finn. And then I like Javon because he's really flippy and bouncy. and then and he's really crazy. Mm-hmm. Those three are really crazy. But Rusev is not really the one who I like that much. Like, because he's been battling with Penta, Dominic, and just, like, those two for the remainder. And then the other one,
Rey
Mysterio, he kind of just joined in.
And then there's Dragon Lee.
I'm also like Dragon Lee because I think he and Javon would work as a great tag team, just like he and AJ was. Because on Monday they worked out because he went up against Rusev and JD. And then Rusev turned on all of them and his tag team partner. Well, his teammate for the remainder, but I think like after Javon and Javon and Dragon Lee work it out, then they might be that, but it's like a very low possibility that either Triple H or Adam Pearce does it, but it's still a good thing to think about.
It's going to be an exciting match regardless of who wins, but how excited are you before we get into the match?
I'm pretty excited. I would think that it would be a good 4 out of 5.
All right, put that at the 4. The next match is going to be Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's Championship. And Rhea chose Jade, got to face off against Jade after she got the Elimination Chamber win.
I think that Rhea has been really... she's been, switching back and forth from SmackDown and Raw, and then we just got announced, she's, she might be just in, SmackDown now, but she's still in Raw. And then same as Io. Wherever Io or Rhea goes, then Io and Rhea follows. If Io goes to Raw one night, then Rhea will follow. And then since Jade, B-Fab, and Mitchin are all together now, which I like B-Fab and Mitchin because I first found them from, a YouTube they did, a couple years ago. And then I like them ever since because I saw B-Fab and Mitchin in the 2025 Royal Rumble. I think that Mitchin was in there. I can't remember. Because I remember B-Fab was in there, and she was really good. But I also like that, it's kind of sad that they're, beating up, Io or Rhea, because, the one clip on SmackDown, or Raw, I can't remember, but they, tied Rhea up, and then Jade beat Io with a kendo stick. And I really like when, they're really mean, because they've been going back and forth from Jade beating up them to Rhea and Io, hitting, getting B-Fab and Mitchin, but not really Jade because they're, playing a little chicken, and they're, because she wants to save it until Sunday. And she doesn't want to do it so soon because... what'll happen. One of them will win, and then and then everyone will think that she will win, and then she might win. And then, yeah. So I think that this one will be a good 3 out of 5.
Yep, like you said earlier, if they would have switched opponents, if it would have been Stephanie and Rhea and Liv versus Jade, you might be a little more excited for it. Then we've got Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams in a singles match for the WWE United States Championship. And Sami's kind of playing like a bad guy a little bit.
Everyone doesn't really it's a really mixed crowd for Sammy, but everyone loves Trick. And just like Seth Rollins when he turned bad guy and he joins the Vision, they still chanted his music, but they still booed at him when he talked. So, and they still do that with Sammy now because it's a mixed crowd kind of, because they don't like how he won. And then Trick, they love him. And I like him too. Because when I first found him, I liked his music. It's on my Spotify playlist now. And I just like how it starts up and then, I just like his music and I like how he talks and a lot of the stuff. And then his fiance is Lash Legends, but they're not married yet. And I love that they're together
On SmackDown.
because they feel like a power couple kind of. And then Sammy is really good. I like his music, but his music might change. But he's had that music for a while.
He brought it back a few years ago when he was wrestling Roman.
But he had it for a while before he wrestled Roman. And then he might have his old music, what he used, before Roman, or a lot more stuff. So I think this match would also be a good 5 out of 5.
Oh. All right, we got 2 left unless there's something added to WrestleMania on SmackDown on Friday. We have the Demon Finn Balor against Dominic Mysterio in a singles match. And I'm a little disappointed, not that Finn is going to be the Demon. I'm excited for that. But I'm sad they announced it ahead of time. It should have been a big surprise.
He might have his old music, what has the heartbeat, because that's how he was, back when he was a demon. But I'm most excited for, he might have his puppet back, but because I remember when Mr. Iguana was there, and then he pulled out when he wasn't the demon, but he still had his puppet. And then Mr. Iguana pulled out his iguana puppet, and then Finn pulled out his, and then he did something to it. I think he did his move to it, which was really funny. So I hope that he does something really cool with that outfit, but I also really hope that he cause his old hair for the demon has belts kind of, so I really hope he whips Dominic with one of them, just like Bianca with her hair. I hope it leaves a scar because Dominic has been not very nice to everyone, and it would be karma to him. Because just when they kicked out Edge and a lot of other people.
So how excited are you for this match?
I'm really excited because I haven't seen him really wrestle with the demon. I haven't seen Finn be the demon. So I think this will be a 5 out of 5.
Oh, wow. And the last match that we know of for right now, the one they've been calling what could be one of the best matches of WrestleMania of all time, CM Punk against Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. And it's the one that longtime fans like myself have been the most excited for because CM Punk finally gets his real main event at WrestleMania. So, Ahryn, how excited are you for this match?
So, Punk, he and Roman have been talking smack for a long time, since Roman decided. or even before he decided. And then he like picked Punk, and I think that it was a good decision, and it was also a bad decision because it led to him like really like smashing through tables, like talking really bad to him, and like and then leading to Punk and the Usos being really like insecure about him and wanting the OTC to win. But I think that I want Punk to win because I don't really like Roman right now. Because he's had like too many titles, and I think that he should lose.
And how excited are you for the match? Is it a good last match of the last night?
It could be, but I'm also not too excited. I think that this would be a 3 out of 5.
Wow, that's kind of shocking, but there you go. That is Ahryn's list. And Ahryn, out of all of these matches, if you could only watch one, which is the one that you should tell everybody that they should have to watch?
Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor.
Really?
Flash the Demon.
Daddy thinks
Oba Femi.
Oba and Brock is the one that you need to tune into. I hope we're pleasantly surprised. I hope there are a lot of great matches. But for me, the one that's going to make me tune in is Oba versus Brock. And the other thing that we're going to tune in for, not John Cena hosting, what is Danhausen going to do?
He might turn bad.
Well, he's already very evil.
I kind of wish that he like could throw teeth on someone, but not only that, but I wish that they like he had like if anyone had wished or asked for teeth, like they could say no, not like those teeth, not like the dry teeth, like bloody teeth or something else. Like, that would be kind of funny. And then when they dropped it on there, they would be like, am I bleeding or is that the teeth? What's going on?
So, yeah, WrestleMania this weekend. Ahryn, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast, and thank you for giving us your thoughts on how excited you are for certain match. Well, not certain matches, all the matches at WrestleMania for both nights this weekend, and let's see if all of those live up to the excitement level or if some of them change for you.
Because will we do an episode after WrestleMania?
We can absolutely do a check-in next week and find out what happened at WrestleMania.
Smitty might be here.
Well, he'll be here. He would be willing to share with you for sure. And again, this was the main event, talking about the excitement level from this pro wrestling fan over here for WrestleMania this weekend.
I'm really excited for it. I thought that it started tomorrow, but then I forgot that it was SmackDown. And then if they add another match, I don't really know how long the nights will be, because it felt like 8 hours the last time, but it was like 4 or 5-ish hours. And then because usually main events are really long, because SmackDown is usually, well, it used to be like 2 or 1 hour, just like Raw, but now it's 3 hours, and they might make Raw 3 hours, and that means they would need to put like even more matches and even more smack talks and friendships and a lot of more things in it. And I think that I'm really excited for SmackDown because they might add a new match, because I kind of want a match like they could put a new person, like someone, because what really surprised me the most was it's going to be JD McDonough's like first WrestleMania, and I thought that he definitely had more WrestleManias, and Finn has definitely had more WrestleManias, but I didn't know that JD didn't have any because he's been here like not as long as Finn, but he's been kind of not really close, but he's been here for a little while. So I'm really surprised that he hasn't really been there, but he was in some Royal Rumbles and some main events, but he wasn't really in much this year.
Nope.
So this is going to be I think that is going to be a real fun match to watch, and I think that all the matches are going to be fun to watch. And even though like the Randy versus Cody match is really low, I think that one will be also really good to watch, because all of them are a complete surprise, and all of them, like, you don't know what is going to happen because it's all planned out, and you don't know, like, they don't tell you before the matches, because then that would be just a complete spoiler and no one would really like WWE. but now everyone, but it's a complete shock to see, like, if anyone, because it's like, because the unsanctioned matches, someone could come out and turn on them if they were, like, really good friends before. They might do some bad things. But I think, Oba and, what's his name?
Brock.
Not Brock. Oh my god, I forgot his name. The match. Oh yeah. Scottish Warrior.
Oh, Drew.
Drew McIntyre and
Jacob.
I think that Jacob could have someone come in, like Solo. They should make a match with Solo.
Well, they're going to wrestle on SmackDown, so we'll have to wait and see.
They are gonna wrestle on SmackDown, so they might make a match with him, and I think that a good match with Solo would be him and one of his crew.
Oh.
Like the one who has been like not really here and who's been like turning on him kind of.
One of the Tongans.
Yeah, one of the Tongas.
Well,
Because they're really funny.
Again, we'll have to wait and see. Ahryn, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I love you.
Love you too.
All right, man. Well, since this is our hypothetical wrap up, maybe we've jumped ahead in the future if we have a main event that we can splice in there. And if it didn't, well, this is the actual end. So,
Yeah.
well, what do? We don't do fingers up for Roman Reigns. We do fingers up for something else.
We got some tubes we got to touch, my man. Bink.
Sir, I hope you have a good night's sleep. We will obviously have this up and running at our normal bat time, same bat channel. And for you, thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to catch you next time.
Heck yeah.
See ya.
Bye.